Good afternoon. Today we're going to look at going over the homework. This was the math workshop week 10 homework that was assigned on Tuesday. So let's look at number 1 right here. We are subtracting these complex numbers. So what does this minus do to everything? Changes sign. So I'm going to rewrite this as 6 minus 3i minus 4 plus 2i. Changes all the signs in the second parentheses. You're going to combine like terms. That gives you 2, negative 3i and 2i gives you a negative I. So 2 minus I. Remember, in complex numbers, you write your real part first and your imaginary component second, okay? On number 2, we are multiplying, so we're going to FOIL this out. 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times I is positive 6i. Negative 2i times 3 is negative 6i. Negative 2i times I is minus 2i squared. Oh, I'm sorry here. Let's go back to this. 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times I is 6i. Negative 2i times 3 is negative 6i. Negative 2i times I is negative 2i squared. That's correct. Sorry about that. Alright, these middle terms are going to cancel out. So I'm left with 18 minus 2i squared. Remember, you cannot submit anything with i squared in it. So I'm going to substitute what I squared is equal to, which is negative 1 into the problem. And I come out with 20, just 20 as my answer. Number 3. We are adding these two complex numbers. This plus has no effects. I'm going to rewrite it without the parentheses. Combine like terms. 8 and 2 gives me 10. Negative 3i and 3i gives me 0. So my answer is 10. Here we are adding again. Once again, that plus has no effect on this second parentheses. I'm going to rewrite it without it. 7 and 4 gives me 11. And 4i and negative 4i cancels out. So I'm left with 11. A lot of canceling out today on that top word. Alright, let's look at number 5. We are multiplying. So we're going to do the FOIL method. 1 times 1 is 1 first. Outer. 1 times I is positive I. Inner. Negative I times 1. Negative I times 1 is negative I. And then negative I times a positive I is negative I squared. These cancel out once again. 1 minus I squared. You cannot submit me something with I squared. That is not in simplest form. We need to substitute a negative 1 in there. So 1 minus a negative 1. That's a double negative. That gives me 2. On number 6, the problem with number 6 is we have an imaginary component in the denominator. So we need to get rid of it. And we get rid of these by multiplying by the conjugate. So the conjugate of 4 plus 3i would be 4 minus 3i. 4 minus 3i. So I'm going to multiply the numerator and the denominator by 4 minus 3i. So 7 times 4 is 28. 7 times negative 3i is negative 21i. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times negative 3i is negative 12i. And so forth. So I have 28 minus 21i. These cancel out. I'm left with 16 minus 9i squared, which I'm going to substitute a negative 1 in for. That comes out to 28 minus 21i over 25. And there's no number. I can take out all 3 of those, so that is my answer. There's no I left in my denominator, so I'm good with that. Number 7, this is a subtraction one. That minus would change all the signs of that second parenthesis. So I'm going to rewrite it as negative 2 minus 4i. That 6 becomes a negative 6, and that becomes a positive 8i. Negative 2 and negative 6 is negative 8. Negative 4i and positive 8i gives me positive 4i. And that would be my answer, negative 8 plus 4i. I'm not factoring anything out. That is my answer. Alright, number 8. 9 plus 8i squared. That means you're going to rewrite it as 9 plus 8i times 9 plus 8i. Okay, I'm going to FOIL that out. 9 times 9 is 81. 9 times 8i is 72i. 8i times 9 is 72i plus 64i squared. 81 plus 144i plus 64i squared. Substitute a negative 1 in for that I squared. That will give me negative 64. (81) and negative 64 will give me a 17 plus a 144i. Because 81 minus 64 is 17. On number 9, we have a I in the denominator. We need to multiply by the conjugate. The conjugate of 3 minus 2i is 3 plus 2i. 3 plus 2i. 5 times 3 is 15. 5 times 2i is 10i. Negative I times 3 is negative 3i. Minus 2i squared. All over 3 times 3 is 9. Plus 6i minus 6i minus 4i squared. Clean it up a bit. That gives me 15 plus 7i minus 2 times negative 1 because that I squared. These cancel out. I'm left with 9 minus 4 times a negative 1. This was a negative 2 there. So I got negative 2 times a negative 1 is a positive 2. So 2 and 15 gives me 17 plus 7i over negative 4 times negative 1 is positive 4 plus 9 is 13. Alright guys, I'm running out of room on here, so I'm going to write these problems on graph paper. So this is number 10, 6 plus 2i times 6 minus 2i. This is multiplication. 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times negative 2i is negative 12i. 2i times 6 is positive 2i. 2i times negative 2i is negative 4i squared. Those cancel out. I'm left with minus 4i squared is negative 1. Negative 4 times negative 1 is positive 4. So your answer is 40. Alright, number 11. With 6 plus 5i over 6 minus 5i, we have an I in the denominator. There's a problem there. We're going to multiply by the conjugate. Conjugate of 6 minus 5i is 6 plus 5i. 6 plus 5i. Alright. So I'm going to multiply on top. 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 5 is 30i. 5i times 6 is 30i. 5i times 5i is positive 25i squared. All over. Six times 6 is 36. 6 times 5i is 30i. Negative 5 times 6 is negative 30i. Negative 5 times positive 5 is negative 25i squared. Clean it up. I got 36 plus 60i plus 25 times negative 1 because that I squared. All over 36. Then it's going to be negative 25 times the negative 1. So 36 and a negative 25. 36 and negative 25. That gives you 11 plus 60i all over negative 25 times negative 1 is positive 25 plus 36 is 61. Alright, let's look at number 12. Number 12, we have 3 plus 5i over 1 plus I. Okay, once again, we have an imaginary component in the denominator. We need to get rid of that. I'm going to multiply by the conjugate. The conjugate of 1 plus I is 1 minus I, 1 minus I. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times negative I is negative 3i. 5i times 1 is positive 5i. 5i times negative I is negative 5i squared. All over. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times negative I is negative I. I times 1 is I. I times negative I is negative I squared. I'm cleaning it up. Negative 3i and 5i gives me 2i. Minus 5i squared is equal to negative 1. Over. These cancel out. 1 minus I squared is negative 1. So now I have, 3 plus 2i plus 5, that's the double negative 2, which equals 3 and 5 gives me 8 plus 2i over 2. Before I submit this, though, I'll look and see, there's a number I can take out of all 3 of those values. That's a 2, so I'm going to divide 2 out. That's going to be plus, that's going to equal 4 plus I. Is my answer. Alright, number 13. We have 2 minus 4i times 2 minus I. This is multiplication. I'm going to pull this out. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times negative I is negative 2i. Negative 4i times 2 is negative 8i. Negative 4i times negative I is positive 4i squared. Just making sure. Alright, now I combine. Substitute negative 1 in for that. 4 and negative 4 is going to give me 0, so I'm just left with negative 10i. Negative 10i. Going on to number 14. Six plus 2i over 4 minus 3i. There's a imaginary unit denominator. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to multiply by the conjugate, which is 4 plus 3i. 4 plus 3i. I'm ready to multiply. 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 3i is 18i. 2i times 4 is 8i. 2i times 3i is positive 6i squared. All over. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 3i is 12i. Negative 3i times 4 is negative 12i. Negative 3i times positive 3i is negative 9i squared. Combine like terms, I have 24 plus 26i plus 6. I'm going to substitute negative 1 in there. These cancel out. I'm left with 16 minus 9 times negative 1 because of that I squared. Okay, so you're left with 24 plus 26i minus 6 over 16 plus 9. 24 minus 6 is 18, so that gives me 18 plus 26i over 25. That's my answer. Number 15. 2 minus 3i over 2 plus I. I'm going to multiply by the conjugate, which is 2 minus I, 2 minus I. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times I is negative 2i. Negative 3i times 2 is negative 6i. Negative 3 times negative 1 is positive 3i squared. So 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times negative I is negative 2i. Negative 3i times 2 is negative 6i. Negative 3i times negative I is positive 3i squared. Here we go. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times negative I is negative 2I. I times 2 is 2I. I times negative I is negative I squared. That gives me negative 8I plus 3I squared. 4, these cancel out, minus I squared. Now I'm going to substitute negative 1 in for these I squares. And negative 3 will give me 4, and negative 3 will give me 1 minus 8I. That's a double negative over 5. Alright, looking at number 16, this is addition. This plus has no effect on it, so I'm going to rewrite it without it. Combine like terms. Remember, your real part comes first, and then your imaginary component comes second. 4 and negative 5i just gives me negative 1i. Number 17. We'll rewrite that minus. There's no parentheses there, so we'll just do 5 minus 6i minus 4i. That gives me 5 minus 10i. That's a real simple one. Here we write up parentheses, 6 minus 2i plus 7i. Can't combine anything with 6, put it down. Negative 2 and positive 7 gives me positive 5i. Okay, number 19. I'm going to write this on another sheet of paper. Number 19. 6 minus I over 2 plus I. Okay, I'm going to get rid of that imaginary unit in my denominator. I'm going to multiply by the conjugate. Conjugate of 2 plus I is 2 minus I. 2 minus I. Okay, I'm on a fold. 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times negative I is negative 6I. Negative I times 2 is negative 2I. Negative I times negative is a positive I squared. Over 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times negative I is negative 2I. I times 2 is 2I. I times negative I is negative I squared. Clean it up. 12 minus 8I. I'm going to substitute negative 1 in there for that. 4, these cancel out. Minus I squared is negative 1. So 12 and negative 1 gives me 11 minus 8I over 5. Sorry. Take a moment to look at that. And the last one, number 20. 4 minus 7i squared. You need to rewrite that as 4 minus 7i times 4 minus 7i. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times negative 7 is negative 28i. Negative 7i times 4 is negative 28i. Negative times negative is a positive 49i squared. Combine like terms. That gives me a negative 56i plus 49 times negative 1 because that I squared there. So now I got 16 minus 49. That's going to give me a negative 33 minus 56i. Remember, you write your real part first, the part that does not have an I first, and then the imaginary. So your final answer is negative 33 minus 56i. And that concludes the work for the Week 10 Math Workshop as your homework assignment.